Okay, today comes Vietnam, Autonomous Ferrari, Rappers Episode 7. Not easy. This has finally been updated, after more than half a month. Then the frame and engine are already done. What's next? I just want to do this hanging chassis. So they are the source of most of the accessories. Still in this old Toyota. Including this steering gear on this suspension. Are you dismantling it now? I'll get it then. Oh, except for the steering wheel. Including this one hanging front and rear. Croissant brake. They all use this old Toyota. Hey, is that progress? And this last one, this Bugatti. Ah, things are better. He's in the cockpit right now. What needs to be removed is the steering column of the entire steering. The whole assembly can't be dismantled either. Ah, in this case, it will save the old nose. It's this old Toyota that's been dismantled. Now, this is the quilt used for braking. Sprayed red brakes. Cut in. Much more advanced than this Bugatti. Bugatti, that brake, are you complaining? The entire video cycle. Ah, I feel worried too, can't stop. What kind of motorcycle brake calipers are you using? Ah, take the horns too. Is this horn in good condition? Don't look so dirty. This bearing is okay. What about hygiene? If you make it beautiful, you can use it and get some more oil or something. It's over. So this is a cleaning job. Brake disc also used that old Toyota ventilation fan. Ah, but there are only two. There's a foreshadowing. We'll look back then. So now this water is almost washed. Let it dry. What's next? A lot of manufacturing. Ah, after all, I made this myself. This Raffa. Ah, totally using the whole old Toyota suspension. That would be inappropriate. So what are they going to do now with this front suspension? Make one of these horns. Ah, no need for this Toyota. There's a trapezoidal one in front of it. Such a structure. Ah, to make a function of that croissant. So, we may not be able to call this a croissant. Maybe called sheep incense. Aha. Then this is a hammer, and there's various things banging on him. There's nothing to say. Next up is welding. A large number of welding screens. Then let's dance here. Because some brothers may not have these sunglasses. Then knock off the medicine skin after this is welded. And then you get the overall shape. There will be some other processing to follow. So give it a little cut around the corner here. Ah, get rid of this extra piece for him. Of course, just like this, it definitely won't work. Still have to do something. Think about that. You need to put this bearing on the front. At the back, you need to connect this suspended swing arm. And shock absorbers. All these things must be connected to this box. So this is quite a lot of work. Of course, here is a very test for one of them. An understanding of hanging this bar. An understanding of the entire system. And what they're going to use is a double arm structure. Ah, brothers who may not know much about cars. You don't really understand that when you hear two crossed arms. It doesn't matter. Bear with me. Look back. The entire installation process. It has perfectly explained what is a double fork arm. Ah, of course. Let's talk nonsense here. This double fork arm is actually the upper and lower two A's. Type swing arm. The yang angle in the middle of the connection. They have now turned this yang angle into a box. What about the bearing wire? It's already installed, okay? What about this double arm? Except for the two swing arms. Possible. This chassis will be added when tuning. 1 or 2 or 3. This tie rod. It's basically done. Then give him another shock absorber. It's over. Okay, now let's follow the video to watch. And what they're doing is, this is a steering lever. Because the front suspension is responsible for the steering of the vehicle. Ah, this is connected to the yang angle. As soon as the steering machine is moved, it is connected to this. Steering rod. Pull this wheel and turn left or right. There are 4 steering rods in total. 2 on each side. Still thinking about that. Pretty thoughtful. Think about it. It's so heavy, right? One may not be able to pull. Pull and pull may collapse. So do to. Okay, this one is done. Here's another version of the same thing, but here's the problem, guys. You see, he attached the wheel directly to this bearing. Up, then the brake discs. Haha, where is he going to put it? I can't think of this either. If you understand, please leave a message. How do they get the brake discs? Look at this posture. I feel like they didn't consider installing brakes up front. You saw this just now. I just took apart 2 Toyota brake discs. So I guess this. Probably only the rear wheels have brakes. Well, thinking about it, it might be okay. Anyway, This is rear-wheel drive, right? There are front wheels and rear wheels. It doesn't matter if it stops or not. Ah, this car. Maybe they thought about it. Bugatti can't go very fast either. This trailer can't get on either. So what about this Ferrari and this Rafa? Although it uses a Toyota 4-cylinder engine, the car is so heavy. Estimated speed. Can't go very fast. So 2 brakes are enough. Okay, let's not speculate on this anymore. Looking back, that's what we're doing. The front are forked arms. Ah, these 2 fork arms need one of these moving parts. So I made 4. Welded to this frame. Put this front and rear 3-dimensional under construction. The foundation of those arms. The model structure is now complete. Up and down movement. Are the tires perpendicular to the ground? This is one of the most unique features of the 2 fork arms. With this, the Iverson-Mifsonian suspension is different. What about the Smithsonian suspension? Because its structure is simple. Here's a relationship of a triangular fulcrum. So when you hang it up and down, wheels actually move from side to side. You need one of these. Balance pole to hold him. Okay, I can't say a word or two about this thing clearly. This one, take it out alone and talk about it for several days. And this is probably unnecessary. Do you understand? In fact, this. Throughout the suspension, the 2 arms are pretty good. Only luxury cars use this thing, and the cost is relatively high. It takes up a lot of space. Therefore, a larger vehicle is required in order to use this double fork arm structure. How about this Smithsonian one? Many cars now use the front suspension. It's not that the rear suspension can't be used. The rear suspension can also be used. Smithsonian. This Porsche. There's this. The front and rear are Mavsons. This vehicle is suspended by the Smithsonian. Okay, so this front suspension, shock absorber. They opted for a horizontal installation method. Is that a common car? It's all called vertical installation. It's where you are at the wheel. Kill this wheel to the left to see. To the shock absorber. This is vertical mounting, vertical ground. As for this one, they are now using a horizontal installation. Is it okay? This is just a spatial consideration. It's all the same. So now, the front suspension is basically done. It's over. Let's take a look. It's not bad. Yeah. What's next? The manufacturing process of the rear suspension is actually the same. All kinds of electric welding. It is also a double-arm structure. It's just that this rear suspension is a little different from the front suspension. Oh, why? Because there is an engine in the back. The car is heavy. These 2 suspensions of this rear wheel support is better, so they chose. For shock absorbers are installed. There are 2 wheels on each side. Is that so? This is easy to understand, you know? Suspension is harder. This is a little more professional. It's this one that's more supportive. How about after this is baked? It won't be loose. It won't feel soft. In fact, considering that there is an engine at the back, at that time, the gearbox will be put on again, gas tank or something. It's a little heavy. Alright. So now this rear suspension installation is over. I also added 2 of these. Tie rod. This is a complete double-arm structure. Hey, this family. In fact, this understanding of the automotive industry, still. That's pretty profound. Now the front and rear wheels are one pile. Hey, what about the brakes? Why didn't I see the brakes on the rear wheel? Maybe in the next episode. Fix the problem with the brake system. So this episode is mainly about dealing with suspension. Let's take a look. It's already completed. 2 people tried it on it. Not too bad. All the components are moving very well. Not as dry as this. No hindrance. And there you go. In fact, 4 seems to be a little short. Do you want it then? Change it to a harder shock absorber. Alright, so here's a shot of what's going on in this test. Let's see. It's a structure with 2 forked arms. Is that okay? Except this. Workmanship and the quality is a little bit worried. It didn't come from the factory after all. In fact, there is no problem in principle. Okay, what about our video episode today? Is it going to end here? Don't worry, everyone. What about this when there's an update? The pomegranate will definitely update everyone. Then thank you for watching. I am Lou16. See you on the next show. Thank you very much.